Nisargadatta Maharaj was a simple cigarette seller with a shop in the back alleys of Mumbai, then called Bombay. Nisargadatta lived above the shop in a small flat with his wife and 4 children. A simple circumstance, a simple, humble man. And yet, it was here that seekers would eventually come from all over the planet to hear Nisargadatta speak deeply and profoundly on the nature of self and of the nature of reality itself. Nisargadatta was born Maruti Shivrampant Kambli in 1897 in the Maharashtra district of India. However, when his father died in 1915, Nisargadatta moved the family to Bombay, where with his brother he opened a string of 8 small goods shops, selling mainly beedis or leaf-rolled cigarettes. In 1923, he married, and in the years that followed, he and his wife had 3 daughters and a son. In 1933, Nisargadatta's life would change forever. It was in that year that Nisargadatta met his guru, Siddharameshwar Maharaj. Siddharameshwar Maharaj was a guru in the lineage of the Inchegeri Sampradaya, also known as Nimbargi Sampradaya. This lineage of teachers came from Maharashtra and were inspired by a number of great spiritual teachers, including the great mystic poet Kabir. The Inchegeri Sampradaya was unique in that it offered spiritual practice to people from all walks of life, including women and people of all religions. Those who came for the teachings did not even have to be practicing Hindus. It was particularly popular with householders, those with the responsibilities of work and family. In fact, the gurus of this lineage were known for traveling from home to home to make themselves available to householders, rather than the householder having to make time to visit the guru. Many years later, Nisargadatta would say to his lineage, the Inchegeri Sampradaya, "I sit here every day answering your questions. But this is not the way that the teachers of my lineage used to do their work. Ours is a householder lineage, which means everyone had to go out and earn his living. There were no meetings like this, where disciples met in large numbers with the guru and asked him questions. Travel was difficult. There were no buses, trains or planes. In the older days, the guru did the traveling on foot, while the disciples stayed at home and looked after their families. The guru walked from village to village to meet the disciples. When the guru knew that he was about to pass away, he would appoint one of the householder devotees to be the new guru, and that new guru would then take up on the teaching duties, walking from village to village, initiating new devotees and supervising the progress of the old ones. It was this open attitude to all that was evident in the small meeting room in which Nisargadatta met with seekers of all kinds from all over the world. The guru lineage of the Inchegeri Sampradaya would become known throughout the Western world as Nisargadatta Maharaj became more and more well known around the globe. When Nisargadatta took Siddharameshwar Maharaj as his guru, Siddharameshwar gave him a mantra and some very straightforward meditation instructions, which Nisargadatta followed exactly. In the words of Nisargadatta, "My guru ordered me to attend to the sense I am and to give attention to nothing else. I just obeyed. I did not follow any particular course of breathing, meditation, or study of scriptures. Whatever happened, I would turn away my attention from it and remain with the sense I am. It may look too simple, even crude. My only reason for doing it was that my guru told me so. Yet it worked." Nisargadatta practiced his guru's meditation instructions in any spare moment he had between his responsibilities to his family and to his business. "My guru told me, go back to that state of pure being, where the I am is still in its purity before it got contaminated with this I am or that I am. Your burden is of false identifications. Abandon them all." I simply followed his instructions, which was to focus the mind on pure being, I am, and stay in it. I used to sit for hours together with nothing but the I am in my mind, and soon the peace and joy and deep all-embracing love became my normal state. In it, all disappeared. Myself, my guru, the life I lived, and the world around me. Only peace remained, an unfathomable silence. Nisargadatta remained with Siddharameshwar Maharaj for merely 2.5 years, until Siddharameshwar's death in 1936. After his guru's death, Nisargadatta entered a period of intense inquiry and meditation practice. He left Mumbai and wandered across India. After 8 months of wandering, Nisargadatta spontaneously decided to return to Mumbai and to his family. It was on this journey home that Nisargadatta realized the self. I realized suddenly and irrevocably that there was nothing wrong anymore. He would spend the rest of his life in Mumbai, keeping only one of his shops so as to earn an income for his family. In his humble flat, Nisargadatta had a mezzanine was constructed, and it was from there he met daily with visitors that came to him. Nisargadatta's lineage of Inchegeri Sampradaya had traditionally taught primarily mantra meditation. However, although Nisargadatta often gave a mantra to his students, in his teachings and discourses, Nisargadatta shifted the emphasis from mantra meditation to self-inquiry. Nisargadatta taught what has been called Nisarga Yoga. The primary self-inquiry that Nisargadatta suggested was the one given to him by his guru, and that was to bring attention back consistently to the inherent feeling of existing. In other words, to meditate on the feeling I am. However, Nisargadatta said that I am was merely a gateway. The aim of meditation of the felt sense of I am was to reach the ultimate source prior to the arising of the I am. Nisargadatta called this ultimate source Par Brahma. He said that the feeling of I am arose from conception with the appearance of the body and was maintained by breath and food. Take away breath or food, and the feeling I am would soon disappear. The ultimate reality was not the I am. In fact, I am is the primary illusion from which all other illusion arises. The ultimate reality, Par Brahma, is that which is prior to the arising of the I am. Simply put, Nisargadatta suggests, meditate on the feeling I am until the illusory nature of I am is revealed. The ultimate reality, Par Brahma, prior to I am, is pure, unbounded awareness. Awareness, however, that is not aware of itself. It merely is. Nisargadatta taught a 3-staged hierarchy of consciousness. First was the Jeev Atma. This is the one who identifies himself as a body and personality. They stand apart as an individual apart from the world because they identify themselves as their body, mind. Second was beingness or I amness. This I amness can be known or meditated upon. It resolves differences of self and world into its singular beingness. It is, however, egoity in its purest form and the seed illusion of separate self. Thus, the illusory nature of I am, of beingness itself, must be realized. It must be passed through and gone beyond. Third was the ultimate or Par Brahma. Of the ultimate, nothing can be really said. The closest pointer would be non-being or nothingness or emptiness or even pure awareness, unaware of itself. However, once we pass beyond beingness or I amness, words are virtually useless. It is this non-being from which being or I amness arises and falls back into. Non-being or the ultimate is the ground that allows for the rising of being. Nisargadatta's practice was to meditate on beingness or I am until its illusory nature was realized, thereby naturally and effortlessly resting in the ultimate or non-being or awareness unaware of itself. The great Indian saint and sage of the 20th century, Ramana Maharshi, points to the ultimate in a very similar to Nisargadatta when he says, anything outside deep, dreamless sleep is unreal. It was the book I Am That brought Nisargadatta and his teaching to millions around the world. For the Western students who came to him, Nisargadatta adopted a different form of instruction. Nisargadatta engaged with them in intense sessions of questions and answers. The question and answer sessions were recorded in Marathi that Nisargadatta spoke and translated and transcribed. And it was these transcriptions that became the book I Am That. For many Western spiritual teachers, this book was of the greatest importance to their spiritual evolution. Well-known teachers in the West such as Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Adya Shanti, Joseph Goldstein, and many others. This very important book, I Am That, was acknowledged as a spiritual classic and which inspired so many around the world to seek out Nisargadatta in the back alleys of Mumbai, was brought into existence by one extraordinary man. His name was Maurice Friedman. Maurice Friedman was a Polish Jew who, before meeting Nisargadatta, had lived at the ashram of Mahatma Gandhi and had helped Gandhi draft a new constitution for the state of Aundh. It was Maurice Friedman who, using his engineering skills, created for Gandhi several types of spinning wheels. Friedman was also close to Nehru, Sri Ramana Maharshi, and the highly popular spiritual teacher Jiddu Krishnamurti. Friedman became a student and devotee of Nisargadatta in 1965, the earliest days of Nisargadatta's meeting with Westerners. And because he spoke Nisargadatta's native tongue of Marathi, Friedman translated many of the question and answer sessions into English. He would later record these sessions, and it was these recordings that became the book I Am That. According to Nisargadatta, Maurice told me, everything that is said here is immediately lost, though it could be of great benefit for those looking for truth. I would like to translate and publish your words so others might know them. The book was an almost immediate bestseller, and hundreds of foreigners began to crowd into Nisargadatta's small Mumbai flat. Nisargadatta humorously remarked, I used to have a quiet life, but the book I Am That by Maurice has turned my house into a railway station platform. Nisargadatta considered Maurice Friedman a jnani, or one who had fully realized his teachings through the path of knowledge. Maurice Friedman died in 1977 in India with Sri Nisargadatta by his bedside. Nisargadatta received and taught visitors at his home by giving talks twice a day, every day, from the time he retired from his shop in 1966 until the day of his death on the 8th of September 1981 at the age of 84 from throat cancer. Of the Westerners who came to Nisargadatta during his teaching years, there are a number who have realized and even today continue to communicate Nisargadatta's message. Here are just a few of them. Sailor Bob Adamson, a student of Nisargadatta in the 1970s, Bob Adamson, now in his 90s, continues to this day to receive and teach students in his small flat in Melbourne, Australia. Stephen Howard Walensky. Stephen H. Walensky, PhD, is a direct disciple of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. He is the author of over 24 books and has taught self-inquiry and Kashmir Shaivism from 1982 to the present. Jean Dunn. Jean Dunn was with Nisargadatta from 1977 to 1981. She kept extensive journals at that time. She also compiled and edited many of Nisargadatta's talks, which then became books. Like Nisargadatta, Jean was a heavy chain smoker and passed away from emphysema in 1997. Mark West. Mark attended Nisargadatta Maharaj's talks during the 1970s. He is the author of Gleanings from Nisargadatta and continues to share Nisargadatta's message with visitors to his flat in King's Cross, Australia. Alexander Smith, Shri Par Brahm Datta Maharaj. Alexander Smith was a Dutch student of Nisargadatta who taught and authored many books on Nisargadatta and his teaching until his death in 1996. Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer was an American best-selling author of many books on spirituality. Although he never met him in person, Wayne Dyer considered Nisargadatta Maharaj as his primary teacher. He came to this conclusion on first reading I Am That. Dyer died in 2015. Ramesh Balsekar. Ramesh Balsekar was one of Nisargadatta's most well-known Indian students among Westerners. Ramesh was the president of the Bank of India when he first met Nisargadatta Maharaj. After Nisargadatta's death, Ramesh received students and seekers daily to his Mumbai apartment till his own death in 2009. He authored over 20 books. Perhaps the two teachers who have had the most effect on Western students of Advaita Vedanta or non-dualism over the last 30 years have been Nisargadatta Maharaj and Sri Ramana Maharshi. Are their teachings in any way similar? Do they complement each other? For many, the answer is yes. Nisargadatta's primary message was meditate on the sense of I am until the I am is seen to be illusory. Ramana's primary message was to inquire, who am I? The inquiry was suggested by Ramana so that one might see very clearly that there was in fact no I present. The one we presume to be thinking our thoughts is actually only itself a thought. Nisargadatta casts that sense of I was the root feeling of I am, which is seen as illusory. We may get a better understanding of what is being pointed to by both teachers if we listen to Ramana's words about his own state. Ramana said that he was in the condition of Jagrat Sushupti. Jagrat is the fully awake state. Sushupti is the state of deep dreamless sleep. Ramana said that he was both in Jagrat and Sushupti simultaneously. In other words, Jagrat Sushupti. Ramana often pointed to the state of deep dreamless sleep as revealing or pointing to our real being. In fact, Ramana said, nothing outside deep dreamless sleep is real, and deep dreamless sleep reveals to us the state of true being, of our true happiness. Feel or imagine for a moment what Ramana might mean by these words. Feel or imagine the utter bliss of deep, dreamless sleep, pure, boundless freedom from everything. Is there a worldly bliss that can match it? Now imagine that state of blissful, deep, dreamless sleep and being profoundly awake and completely and utterly present. Hold on to that feeling or imagination for a moment. Imagine out of that state of profound awakeness and the bliss of deep, dreamless sleep that the feeling sense of I am suddenly arises. Can you see or feel why Nisargadatta called I am the primary illusion? Can you see or feel that I am is the root of all sense of separation and the pinching off of our natural and inherent boundless bliss? Can you see that your life can unfold perfectly and harmoniously without the slightest feeling sense of I am? Can you see why Nisargadatta suggested to meditate on the sense of I am until the sense of I am is seen to be illusory? Nisargadatta called the sense of I am Brahma. Nisargadatta called that which is prior to I am Par Brahma. Ramana's state of Jagrat Sushupti is the state prior to the arising of the illusory feel sense of I am. After 3 years of intensive meditation on the feeling sense of I am, according to the instructions of his guru, Nisargadatta transcended the feeling sense of I am and awakened to the ultimate reality. Nisargadatta once expressed his realized state in these brief words: there is simply nothing wrong anymore.
त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा